Hello everyone and welcome back to round 5 of season 4 of the F123 My Team Career Mode. Yes, we're back this weekend here in Azerbaijan, Baku. Of course, if you missed out on yesterday's video where we went back to Shanghai, I would definitely recommend going back and checking it out. But of course, yes, now we're jumping into our first sprint weekend of the new season. Of course, so far, mixed results, much better than last season, but still not quite perfect to where I want to be fighting as we jump into Season 4. Championship-wise, Verstappen already a 29-point lead at the top of the table as Piastri, Lando, myself and Yuki Tsunoda have all been taking points out of each other. Red Bull now with a 21-point lead in the Constructors' Championship as well. But I'm hoping this weekend, as we head into Azerbaijan, we can try and fight, finally, can we try and get a win on the board? Well, high stakes then here in Baku this weekend. Of course, with the sprint race and the added bonus points available from it, we need to be trying to get ourselves on pole position. We've proven it's possible this season, back in Albert Park by a couple of tenths. But yeah, Shanghai last time out just really did not have the pace. Saudi, we were quite unlucky there as, well, there is the red line as we head back down in towards turn 1. Try to avoid front lock-in as best as possible, but yeah, we're looking for sub 100 second lap times around here, so let's wait and see what we can achieve. Well, first run here then in Q1, let's sort of see what time we're getting on the board as we open up the DRS on the run back down towards the start finish line then. 138, 139, we're a little way off where I was expecting. 31.6 is only P20. That is definitely not good enough. Well, Magnussen then is just coming to the end of his qualifying lap, so I'm going to try and sit behind the Dane and see what sort of top-end speed he's able to get out of that car, because if we're suddenly miles down in terms of top-end speed, we are in real trouble here in Baku. Now, seems pretty even with Magnussen, as hopefully he's going to peel out of the way over the start-finish line. Still very, very odd, of course, the fact you're just bouncing off that red line there, but yeah, we need to find a lot of time, though, on this second run. We're only in Q1 still, so let's just try and get a much tidier lap hooked up. Well, there we go, that's a much better representative then as we make our way through the final couple of corners. Over a second up. Oh, hello, there's a wall there, Matt. That's going to compromise just a tiny bit of time as we head up towards the line, but yeah, Baku is such a confidence-based circuit. I think it's why Charles Leclerc has often been able to put his cars on pole here, but 1.1 seconds up. It's not going to be a blistering time, but it will be us into Q2. Well, we're only going to get one chance then here in Q2. Don't really want to double run the tyres, but we're going to need a sub 140 this time around if we want to be making it into Q3. So this is actually going to be very, very tough here in qualifying. Just everyone very, very tightly bunched. I think everyone limited to about the same top speed, but we need to be brave. We need to try and find a little bit more there. We've got to be good on the brakes as well, though, as that was not perfect at 1. We were almost a second up on Felipe Drugovich, but his time is not particularly competitive. And we made a little bit of a slip-up out of the final corner. Purple through the middle sector, though, so we're definitely carrying a bit more downforce than most of the other cars around us. But will this be us into Q3 here in Baku? We desperately, desperately need it. Up towards the line, a 139.9. That should be us safely through, and 7th place, yes it is. Well, something's happened to Oscar Piastri because he is out of qualifying before we even get into Q3, so the very worst now that we can end up is P9, but I'm going to try and set a banker lap on the scrub set of tyres that I used at the end of Q2. That way we've got a delta chase as we get into Q3, but yeah, just need 2 perfect more laps. It really does feel like at the moment I'm just trying to wring the neck out of the car every single qualifying session. I tell you what, as first laps go, this one's been a pretty decent banker here as we make our way through the final chicane. This could actually be a very, very competitive lap time, as I don't quite know what our front runners have set just yet. We've got the Red Bull around the circuit as well, but up towards the line then, what is the time going to be? Should be a mid-39 there, a 39.5. That puts us P5 behind Albon Tsunoda, and I'm presuming Lando and Max. I think the delta's slightly out of whack because it reckons we can find another second over that previous time. But Lando Norris, any hope I had a pole position have gone. He's now set a 138.7 here, so don't really see myself being able to find another 0.8 of a second. But I reckon we could get closer to Max on a 39.1. Oh, I tried to risk it at the final corner over the curbing, but as we make our way through the final couple of turns. We're going to be 3/10 up. I don't think we're going to quite get max, but we might line ourselves up in P3 on the grid then. Shortest run to the line. Make sure we don't quite go over that pit lane entry line. What is the time going to be? 38.1. And I think that is P3. No, it's P4. Well, Alpine once again then looking very, very competitive here, but it is Lando Norris on pole with a 138.7. I reckon there was another 2/10 in that lap. We could have been with him on the front row of the grid there, but 9 laps of sprint racing action first of all. I have got 1 goal and 1 goal only. Be aggressive and get to the front.
So it's all about speed in today's sprint. Not very many laps and no chance to get ahead on strategy. Who here today has the raw skill to take them to the top? Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting sprint. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, with Esteban Ocon alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Mr. Monaco, Albon, Tsunoda, Leclerc, Sainz, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Gasly, Magnussen, Drugovich, Liam Lawson, De Vries, Sargent, Bottas, Doohan, Joe, Fittipaldi, Teo Pourchaire, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Well, we've scored good points in every single race so far this season, but here in Baku, I've really got no idea as to what to expect there. The tyre wear is going to be difficult to manage, but do I gamble it? I think we've got to gamble it on a set of softs. I think we've just got to try and push the front as early as we can here. Going to go very aggressive as well on the fuel, underfuel the car ever so slightly. But yeah, 9 laps of sprint racing action, everyone around me on a set of mediums, so we need to try and get to the front and just really then hang on. Right, let's do this thing. Azerbaijan GP sprint race, waiting on those 5 red lights. Lights out, and away we go. And hopefully immediately we're going to try and get past Max Verstappen as we head down in towards turn 1. Cover off the Dutchman there as well. A tiny bit of rear lock-in through the first corner. Both rear locking on the way in and a load of oversteer on the way out. But immediately up one place then off the start of the sprint. That's exactly what we needed, as hopefully we're going to try and get past Ocon as well on this opening lap. But yeah, very, very cold. Obviously, all 4 corners of the wagon. So we're just going to try and ease the car in as well. They're going to get a lot of understeer on the opening lap, as Lando Norris already trying to pull away at the front of the field. Of course, wonder if that, you know, pattern that's emerged is going to maintain itself in a sprint race as well here. Remember, every single driver who has led at the end of lap 1 this season has gone on to win the Grand Prix. As we make our way down through the end of Sector 1, up through the castle for the first time. That was close to the inside wall. Again, both on the entry and the exit. You know, these street tracks are all about making the venue as wide as you possibly can. As already looks like Lando Norris might be able to try and break out the DRS range of Esteban Ocon before, of course, it's even been activated here. So we plunge down the hill, just trying to keep the wheels in good check. Gearbox wear is looking rather high as well, but shouldn't be of too much of a concern this weekend. And let's see what sort of run then we can get on Esteban Ocon as we make our way out of the final corner. Of course, we've got to try and be in the DRS of Lando Norris there as we round our way out of the final turn. Looks like Verstappen actually dropping back away from me there, potentially under some pressure from Alex Albon. But there we go, onto the red line ever so slightly. We'll come off the battery usage as we head back down towards turn 1. Can we get to the inside of Ocon? Just trying to break inches later there, really are aggressive there. We're trying to complete the move, but we're through. And we're up into P2. Trying to make sure we're in the DRS range. Those we're about to start lap 3 here. The gap now down to 9/10 of a second. Lando Norris sets fastest. We go a 10th faster. So it is still very, very tight between myself and Lando early on. Unfortunately, the AI is so strong through that first corner. And we won't have the DRS heading out onto the back straight. We've just got to try and get that bit closer, ready for the front straight. And what we've got to remember as well, of course, these tyres are not going to be fun towards the end of this sprint, so we need to try and ideally get past Lando Norris as early as we can here in this GP. We're going to use plenty of battery as we make our way out in the final couple of corners, but it might be a case of, obviously, if we're both hitting VMAX, how close have we got to be as we go onto the back straightaway? You can see still gaining slightly on Lando. That gap now should come down even more as we head down in towards turn 1 there, but you can see 218 miles an hour on the red line. Now under 1 minute 40, new fastest lap of the day, but will we be able to try and do something down in towards turn 3? Really pushing Lando along here. We've still got a small tyre advantage at the moment, but I want to be ahead of him as we head into the middle sector here. Gaining. Lando Norris going to go defensive again, pretty much on the rev limiter there as Lando, tiny bit of contact between myself and my teammate there as he just has to defend into the corner, and a little bit of hesitation perhaps on the steering input, but romping away from Max behind still. Alpine definitely have not got the race pace, but can we find a way around him? So we make our way through the final couple of corners though, again practically pushing Lando along. This is much closer than we were last time around, so let's sort of see what kind of run we're able to get on my teammate. 3 seconds back to Verstappen behind, so we have potentially got to be careful still of the Dutchman closing in if we continue to battle too aggressively, but to the outside we'll go then. So we head back down towards turn 1. You can see both of us pretty much on the red line again there. Lando Norris going to dive deep on the brakes to try and hang on to the race lead. He knows it's a question of when my tyres are going to start falling off, and then he's going to have the grip advantage, but surely now we can try and get a run out of turn 2. Have a look to the outside there, really try and get ahead of him this time round. Force him defensive. Lando still there. This is great, clean racing between myself and our teammate, but we finally make it through, and we are into the lead of the Azerbaijan GP sprint race. But the real question is, can we hang on to it? Tell you what, that's going to make things easier. Lando Norris not even inside the DRS range. As we make our way through the final couple of corners, just use the battery, make sure we keep him at arm's length. But yeah, if we don't have to defend, that is good not only in terms of the battery, but also in terms of the tyres. We want to have a good charge ready for the final lap. Even if he is inside the range, then we can basically just drain it to the line. Lando back inside the DRS though, 3 laps to go, and the one I'm really getting worried about now is Max Verstappen. He seems to be closing in on the pair of us. If I can keep Lando at bay, he might be able to keep Max at bay, but you know, if this was real Formula 1, I would think the team now would be starting to tell the drivers just to work together. Oh no, here comes Lando as we're about to start the penultimate lap. Here to the outside will go our teammate, and you can see there we've got nothing we can do against him. Verstappen as well, trying to look down around the outside at turn 1, but we'll defend from the Red Bull. And now are we just starting to struggle with the tyres? Can we get a run on Lando Norris again? Back down in towards turn 3 there. You can just see we haven't got the speed off the corners. We're going to gain, but it's not going to be anywhere near enough. Lando Norris back through to the lead. Right, come on then. One more lap to go here from Baku, and we are still all over the back of my teammate Lando Norris. We've got to drain the battery this time around if we want to get a run on him. So we head out of the final corner. Gaining, but we're already on the red line. Oh, Lando, you can't move around like that, mate, right at the last moment. Both of us trying to drain the battery as we head down in towards turn 1 there. Lando Norris again is going to try and defend for all he's worth, but we get round the outside of my teammate and back to the lead of the Grand Prix. He's going to send it down the inside. No! Contact between us both as we head out of turn 1, and Max Verstappen now might set an opportunity there to try and get round the outside. Have we once again tripped over with our teammate Lando Norris? Surely he's got to keep the nose up the inside. Surely this is all getting a little bit dramatic there as contact again with my teammate. Has Verstappen just snuck this one from under our nose? Lando Norris will get back around the outside of the Dutchman. We're going to try and get to the inside of Verstappen, who again tries to be very, very aggressive with his defence, but we force our way back through, and now suddenly Lando Norris appears to have an opportunity to break free on the final lap here in Baku. What on earth was that down at turn 2? Just sent it back up the inside there and then rattled over the curbing, and contact with myself there almost span us out had we not been able to use my teammate's car to realign us. But Lando Norris might just have won himself this race with a touring car style move as we make our way down in towards the final few corners. The tyres have absolutely given up. The Alpines are right there as well. Lando Norris around in the final corner. He is going to take the win here in the Azerbaijan GP sprint race. We are just going to have to drain the ERS as we head through the final couple of corners if we want any hope of defending from Max Verstappen here. Are we going to see the Red Bull get close enough as we head up towards the start-finish line? He's gaining. Where is that Red Bull got the top-end speed from? And he's going to make it through, and it's only P3.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a really strong drive and a great finish. Well done.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. Our championship leader is still sat at the top of the standings, but their rivals have made up some solid ground today. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid line-up for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Words cannot begin to describe my anger towards Lando Norris with that. What on earth was he thinking down in towards turn 2 there? Completely rattled over the curbing and almost took me out, and that allowed Verstappen to get the run on me up towards the start-finish line there. Lando Norris takes the dub ahead of Max Verstappen and myself. The Alpines ahead of Ferraris, and Yuki Tsunoda will round out our point scorers. It means championship-wise the gap at the top has come down for Lando, but opened up now to 34 points for myself. But yeah, Albon gets the jump again on Oscar Piastri. Ocon now comfortably ahead of Kevin Magnussen. But yeah, we've got the proper race to do, but I am absolutely livid.
A warm welcome to you all at home for today's Azerbaijan Grand Prix, a race that in its short history has already proven no stranger to drama, and where a fourth row start is just about as likely to give you a podium as pole position, with Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez finishing third from there in 2017 and 2018 respectively. The Baku city circuit measures roughly 6 kilometres, and it's made up of 20 corners and 2 DRS zones. The circuit winds around the narrow city, through the old town, and even brushes against the city's medieval walls. However, as beautiful as the setting is, this track is also a ferocious technical challenge, where the smallest of mistakes could lead to a catastrophic consequence for any one of our drivers. It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Lando Norris will lead us away from pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Mr. Monaco, Ocon, Albon, Leclerc, Sainz, Tsunoda, Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Russell, Gasly, Liam Lawson, De Vries, Drugovich, Fittipaldi, Bottas, Doohan, Sargent, Théo Pourchaire, Joe, and Lance Stroll brings the grid to a close. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Anthony Davidson joins me once again in the commentary box, and it's fantastic to have you with us here, but I'm curious, as a man with experience out on the track, how do you stop those pre-race nerves from becoming overwhelming when you're lining up on the grid?
Well, I imagine they'll be starting to feel the adrenaline as they anticipate the run down into turn 1, a bit like preparing to go into battle. The unknown situation will bring nerves, but that's a good thing. It will keep them focused on the moment and on their surroundings as we build towards the start of the Grand Prix.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Right, well, here we are then, ready on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And of course, yeah, tempers still potentially running high from yesterday afternoon's action. Medium, well, I reckon it's hards to mediums is going to be the way to go today. So you know what, we're going to try and test that out. Again, we can run a little bit aggressive on the fuel. We're going to go a lap under this time and see what we can do. But yeah, hards for us, mediums for Verstappen, hards for Lando Norris. However, Albon behind is on a set of softs, so plenty of mix-up once again. But of course, Baku, always the chance for a safety car. Right, let's do this thing though. Ready on the grid for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. 5 red lights. I Lights out and away we go. Lando Norris really struggling to get away there. Not only will Verstappen get past him, but we will as well. So we make our way down in towards turn 1, but we know what the Dutchman's game plan will be. Run away as early as he can there, similar to Sebastian Vettel back in the early 2010s, of course, where he tried and build up like a 3-4 second lead in the opening couple of laps. Yellow flags out almost immediately there as Norris has hung on to P3 off the start. But yeah, we need to try and hang close to Verstappen early on today. Of course, we saw yesterday the Audi was looking mighty competitive relative to that Red Bull, but you always wonder if Verstappen is just trying to keep a little bit of pace at bay early on this season. Of course, you know, not quite showcasing the full potential of the car until he absolutely needs to there, but you can already see the Dutchman a 1.8 second lead on this opening lap, so clearly wants to try and get on with it at the start here and build up that little breakaway whilst he can at the front of the field as we round our way up through the top of the hill. Through the Gold Town we go, and yeah, already a 2-second advantage then for Max Verstappen. Remember, including yesterday's sprint race, I know I keep harping on about it, but every single race so far, whoever's led at the end of lap 1 has gone on to win the Grand Prix, but I'm intrigued to see how long that will last for this season, because I don't think it will go on forever. So round our way down the hill, though, in towards the final couple of corners. Verstappen, though, 2-second lead by the end of lap 1. Albon up to P4 there. Looks like Ocon has dropped back after his strong qualifying performance behind Carlos Sainz. Ferrari still seem to be lacking a little bit of pace here, but this track definitely suits their car a little bit more than other recent venues have. As you can see, Lando Norris gaining on me. He's going to try and look down the inside as we get back down in towards turn 1, and my teammate will make it through. And we need to try and work together here early on. Don't do what we did yesterday. I'm happy for Lando to get by, but we just need to see how his pace stacks up in comparison to that Red Bull at the front. Oh no, here comes the Alpine of Alex Albon. That set of soft compound tyres working well on that car early on, and we've dropped out of the DRS range of Lando Norris as well here, so the AI really are going for it early on this afternoon. But yeah, will Albon be able to stick in the DRS range of Lando? I mean, surely he's going to be able to on that set of the softs, but Verstappen absolutely romping clear. How many times have we seen this early on this championship? Yellow's out. Someone's got issues a bit further back. Looks to be a Mercedes potentially going slowly. No, it's a Williams. I would say Lawson's out of yet another race in that car. It's definitely got some kind of issue, because that's a very odd place to be stopped. So we make our way up through the castle. No safety car, nothing like that still, which is a bit of a surprise. Well, the gap at the front of the field seems to be neutralising ever so slightly to Max Verstappen. It's probably up, though, at close to 5 seconds, so the Red Bull really has built up a rather nice buffer early on this afternoon. As you can see, around through the final braking zone of the lap. But yeah, Albon's still just sat in front of me. I'm waiting for those soft compound tyres to start falling off slightly, but we're actually taking a bit of time at Lando in front of him as well, so I really do think it took us a couple of laps just to get back in the groove. And now we're kind of starting to look a little bit stronger here. But again, we are so straight line speed limited around this venue. You can see we pretty much get up to the red line. And Albon is still pulling away from me. So Alpine have got a higher VMAX than ourselves. And I don't get how our VMAX is so much lower than it was last season. Of course, we could do about 227 miles an hour in last year's car. Now we're limited to 218. And apart from the power unit, nothing else has really changed. Okay, Albon seems to have lost the DRS then off of Lando Norris. So, no, he's in the range. I don't know why he wasn't using it then down towards someone, but I reckon lap 7, we've now got to start going for it. We've got to start trying to move our way back through this group of cars. Albon this time around will get the DRS, though, out of turn 2, but you can see still able to get on the throttle a little bit earlier than the Alpine. He's going to go defensive on me. My former teammate probably knows better than most how to race against us there, but he does give me the room down the outside. I think, you know, Albon potentially appreciating the fact, obviously, we didn't fight him too hard when he had the advantage. Hopefully, he's not going to do the same with me, but yeah, Verstappen then 6 seconds up the road at the moment. We've still got 20 laps to go in this Grand Prix, but yeah, I feel like now we're really getting in the groove. Well, I've really tried to come into this weekend with a slightly different psychology behind us of just try and be patient. Let these races come towards me. And, well, so far, The early signs are starting to look a bit more promising as we head down the front straight once again. DRS enabled, onto the red line we go. Lando Norris going to try and go defensive on me. I'm not even convinced I want to make the move happen down here at turn 1 because the AI are very, very strong through that first corner. But yeah, the gap to Max at the front is coming down as well. Can we try and get around Lando fairly clean and tidy, of course, where we came together yesterday on lap 9. Hopefully we're not going to do the same here today. Is my teammate going to go defensive? No, he's really going to try and squeeze me, actually, towards the outside wall. Pretty even on the brakes. But we'll do exactly what we did to Alex Albon there. That time around, clean cut around the outside of Lando Norris. But yeah, 5.7 seconds then up to Verstappen. Let's see now if we can really try and put the Dutchman under some pressure. Well, that's not reassuring to hear as we're just on lap 12 still. Gap to Verstappen coming down a little bit as we are romping away from Lando Norris at this stage of the afternoon. But yeah, hopefully we're not going to start losing gears later on in the day because that could really be very, very damaging around this venue. 70% wear, so we're probably going to see it at least once, I would have thought, by the end. But I'm going to box the end of this one then. I would assume Verstappen is going to be doing the same. And then we've basically got the second half of the race on slightly softer tyres to try and close the gap. We're heading out the final corner then. We may as well try and drain the battery this time round. Gap now just under 5 seconds to Max Verstappen as we head into the second half of the afternoon. Oh, there's a wall there, Matt. There's the Dutchman staying out yet another one then. So this might be a golden opportunity for us to get a little bit of an undercut on him. Of course, if he's somehow trying to go soft to the end, then that is all going to go up in smoke. But yeah, let's just wait and see then when where we re-emerge, in this Grand Prix. The first stints felt pretty good. I know this is quite aggressive going onto the mediums at exactly half distance, but I really do feel like this could be one of those races where we've just got to be cool, calm and collected and get to the Dutchman right towards the very end. As heading back out then of pit lane, just behind Pierre Gasly. Don't really want to be in traffic for too long, but we might have to accept it for one lap. I mean, if we can avoid it, we're going to try and get past Pierre Gasly on this lap. Down the inside we'll go. Oh, hit the wall, Nick de Vries did. Oh, that was a little bit sketchy, to be honest, but we've made it work. We're past Pierre, and we've got a little bit of breathing room to Charles in front. Okay, Mark apparently liking that one, so the FIA clearly saw no issue with it. Well, we could have gone with just almost 2 laps under on the fuel then, trying to time the run on Charles Leclerc. Oh, as we make our way through the final corner, that was scary. That could have very easily been GG's here, but can we try and get around Charles and get close to George Russell as we head back down towards someone? You can see we've got nothing at all against Charlie Boy, who is going to close in on the Mercedes. Verstappen has still not pit in this Grand Prix, but this time around we'll switch Charles back off of turn 1. Oh, aggressive manoeuvre down in towards turn 2. Make sure we don't hit the wall. Now will we be able to get close enough to George Russell, or are we going to have to wait for the middle sector again? We are really struggling to try and make these moves in effective places. And this works out beautifully for Verstappen, of course, as we are taking more life than I want to at this fresh set of the medium compound tyres. But I reckon the Dutchman, yeah, is trying to go to the end on a set of softs then in this Grand Prix as we'll go down the inside of Russell. A bit cleaner cut of a move than we did on his teammate, but we're through. Oh, Oscar Piastri out of the Grand Prix. Please don't be a safety car now. That could really hamper us as we head into the second half of this race. Verstappen, though, is now into the pit lane then. So are we going to get a jump on the Red Bull driver, or are we going to be very, very close to him? Also going to be very, very telling. I mean, surely he's gone on a set of softs. Surely he wouldn't do 15 laps on a set of mediums and then go on to a set of hards for the second half of the Grand Prix. Sonoda going to take the lead of the race, potentially for the first time this season. No, Led's lap in Shanghai, didn't he? And there we go, Verstappen once again have Red Bull thoroughly murked us off here as the Dutchman started to look vulnerable and is now going to be on a very, very quick compound to the end of this race. We've got to try and hang close. If I could get inside the DRS, we might stand a chance. We went purple sector 1, we went purple sector 2. Will we be able to set a purple final sector as well? I want to try and push for this fastest lap bonus point, but Verstappen was likely going to probably take it off me almost immediately there. Sonoda is going to peel into the pit lane at the end of lap 16, and we've never seen the AI being this aggressive with strategy inside this game. 41-0 there And the gap to Verstappen's still 1.8. But yeah, surely those softs are going to have an advantage for about 5 or 6 laps. And then these mediums should come on as the stronger tyre. So really now, the question is, how close can we keep this gap in towards those final few laps? This is such a mental game of strategy today. Some drivers are playing chess. Sorry, some drivers are playing checkers. Verstappen and I are playing chess. Oh, but we're losing probably 0.2 a lap to Verstappen at the moment. But are we going to be able to stay close enough that when his tyres do hit the cliff, we're going to be able to get there? I'm hoping they fall off. Similar style to how they did in Shanghai. And I know we had issues with him yesterday, but Albon was able to do 12 laps on his first set. So I'm not holding my breath. Are we going to have yet another Grand Prix where we are agonisingly close to the Dutchman, but not able to do anything there as Tsunoda steals my fastest lap bonus point? I really do with now as a safety car. Just let Verstappen and I bunch up again. Give us an opportunity to really go at it with the Dutchman. Gap up to 3 seconds. I think he's just starting to get a bit confident in those tyres. Well, I tell you what, 5 laps into Verstappen's stint, 6 laps to go with the Grand Prix. This is the first lap that gap's come back down again. I don't know if we've just set a more competitive lap time or now the medium tyres are starting to gain an advantage. 41.8, pretty much what I've been running. Come on, is Verstappen now starting to pay the price? Well, that time round was a bit more of a sloppy lap and the gap did not go up. If we can hook up these final 5 laps, we have got a chance. Come on, now we're starting to see Max just struggling to put the power down on corner exits. The gap was temporarily down to 2 seconds exactly. He's going to gain a couple of tenths as we head down the start-finish straight. But I need to be within the DRS by the end of 25 at the latest if I want a chance. Come on, another half a second out of the Dutchman, I reckon. End of 25, we will be in that DRS. Just got to be so careful. Our tyres are starting to hit the cliff as well. But we just need to be smooth and steady. Come on, can we get in the DRS this time? I don't think we're quite going to be able to manage it. It's going to be so close to Verstappen. The gap now down to 1.1 seconds. As we head in towards the final 2 laps of this GP. We need the DRS. We need to get close to him. But we've also still got to be patient. Our tyres are not in great shape either. Well, the problem we've got now then with a lap and a half to go here in Baku is I know if we're ahead of Max Verstappen, unless he drops out of the DRS range heading up towards the start-finish line, that Red Bull is a quicker car down the straight. If I'm ahead of him, he will probably be able to get the jump on me. So we need to try and hang close to him, but not go for the move. We saw it in the sprint race yesterday. The Dutchman, when he was behind him with the DRS, he gets to me before the start-finish line. However, there is no guarantee the other way around that I can get past him as we head up towards the line. You can see a little use of battery this time round. We do gain. Final lap, though, of this Grand Prix, and we are just trying to hang close to Verstappen as best as possible here. Like we said, we need to be right under his gearbox as we make our way in towards the final couple of turns. Has the Dutchman just saved anything in that Red Bull car? Have we got enough on this older set of the medium compound tyres? We've certainly been able to take these quite a distance, but not as aggressive as the AI have been on strategy today. It's this middle sector while we have been strong all afternoon, but that is not the line as we rumble over the curbing there. Come on, just keep it calm, focus up. Send it through the castle. This is often where we've been very, very good as well, able to keep it tidy on the entry. Has allowed us to get a better exit off the corner. You can see that time round, now less than half a second back behind Verstappen. Don't care about the fuel at the moment, Mark. We need to be close to the Dutchman's gearbox as we make our way down the hill for the final time there. 4 tenths back. This is going to be a drag race to the line between myself and our World Championship leader. We need to try and get a win away from him. I'm going to drain the battery as we head through the final couple of corners, but it looks like Verstappen is doing the same there. Little bit of a hesitant wobble by the Dutchman as we head out of the final corner. You can see he's having to save battery. Are we going to be able to get close enough with the DRS up towards the line? We're not going to have enough. It is P2 yet again.
Well done, mate. Well done. That's a great finish. You've really stepped up and achieved what we asked you to do today, so good job.
begins another Azerbaijan Grand Prix. A fascinating race and a well-deserved victory. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
Well, time management probably played quite a large role in the outcome of this one. As ever, it's not just about speed, it's all about maintaining that speed consistently over a stint, over a race distance. So being able to keep up the lap times while still being smooth on the controls and gentle on the tyres, that's really where the race was won today.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently, and it's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be so proud of the victory they've secured here. Let's have a quick look at how the driver's standings have changed. Max Verstappen should be pleased with his performance, making gains at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. And pulling further ahead in the standings, it's Red Bull. It's been an absolutely wild weekend of Formula One action. I can't wait to see what's next.
Well, that has got to be the most heartbreaking loss we've had this season so far. My third P2 in a row. Sorry, not quite in a row. My third P2 in 5 races there. What have I got to do to try and get a victory this season? And yeah, just struggling so much. The Mercedes power unit and the gearing so limited down the straights. It really did compromise us today, though. I think, had we had that Red Bull powertrain, on the final lap only, we could have probably done that, but that is the way Formula 1 goes sometimes, and Max Verstappen able to withstand the pressure come the checkered flag there. Lando P3 ahead of Tsunoda and Carlos Sainz there. Magnussen, Albon, Ocon, and George Russell round out our top 10 and our point scorers, with Oscar Piastri and Nick de Vries the only cars unable to score there. Means Verstappen now a 38-point lead at the top of the table. He's just winning. He's not winning by a lot, but he's just constantly winning, and we need to try and put a stop to that next weekend out in Miami there. 3 points between myself and Lando Norris. We know the opening run of races are often my weakest of the season, so I don't feel like too threatened by the 40-point lead that the Dutchman has got there, but we are really going to have to bring our A-game sooner rather than later. Constructors-wise, though, this weekend we do take a point out of Red Bull, so the gap back down to 20 at the top there. But yeah, it really is Red Bull and ourselves taking all the points away, as Alpine now comfortably ahead of Aston Martin once again there. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure to leave a like, get yourself subscribed, and we will be back very soon when Formula 1 returns to the Miami Grand Prix. You guys do not want to miss that. A massive thank you to my Patreon supporters that you can see currently on your screens. If you want to join them from as little as £1 a month, it would be massively appreciated, and you help support my work. You also get access to weekly updates from myself with everything going on behind the scenes with the channel. But yeah, a massive thank you to the names you see on your screen, and we'll be back very soon with a brand new video.